Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, That Observe and Do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Complete, hypocrisy. So, this is the scripture which I will read. Matthew 23 and the third verse in the King James. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. See, the scribes, this is talking about, when you start from the first verse, the first two verses, it's talking about the scribes and Pharisees, which were hypocrites, the wicked scribes and Pharisees. It says in the first verse, it speaks about, first and second verse, it speaks about them sitting in Moses' seat, meaning they're leaders over Israel. And it got to their head. And what they did was they pushed the law, but a lot of the laws that they pushed were traditions of men. And their fare toward me is taught by the precept of men. Let me go to that. And their fare toward me is taught by the precept of men. Now this is Isaiah, but it's also in the New Testament. So this is Yahweh Shai quoting what Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah said in Isaiah 29, 13 and 19. Wherefore the Yahweh said, for as much as his people draw near me with their mouth, do honor me, but have removed their heart, their mind, their soul, their spirit far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Okay, Matthew 15 and 9. Let me click on this. Okay, worship me, teaching as doctrine the commandments of men. They teach as doctrine the precepts of men, and they worship me, teaching as doctrines the precept of men. But in vain they worship me, because they really don't worship Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because the proof of that was when the Messiah came, as prophesied in Deuteronomy 18 by Moses, And even Yahushua told him that he was the fulfillment of what Moses said in Deuteronomy chapter 18. The man will come likened unto myself. Listen to this man. That he was talking, Moses was talking about the Messiah. So he even explained that he was that man, and they still didn't listen to him. Because the spirit wasn't open. See, it's not about keeping the laws. You got to keep it. Yes, when you come into this thing, you keep the laws to the best of your ability. That wasn't a burden to the Israelites that came out of a Gentile mind state. State meaning condition. The Apostle Paul told the Gentile Israelites in Colossus, don't let no man judge you concerning certain laws, which are a shadow of things to come. So even Peter said, Peter and James, or Peter, he said in Acts 15, he said that was a yoke unto us and our forefathers. I'm merely paraphrasing. So when you come into Israel, you don't tell people, okay, keep the laws. First of all, what laws are you talking about? Where the laws found? How many laws are there? So you go go home and open up the Old Testament and start reading the laws? The Apostle Paul called the Galatians foolish Galatians for saying that they were going to be delivered by keeping the laws. And now it's humanly impossible for you to be delivered by keeping the laws because you broke one law. Before you came to this truth, you broke all kinds of laws. If you came into this truth when you were 20 years old, 12 is when you under the law. That's when you become a man. Law-wise, you become a man. When you're 20 years old, you are part of the military of Israel. And so let's say from 12 to let's say 19, 20, you in the world. And when you were 20 years old, you came into Israel. Well, you committed sins before you woke up to the fact that you're an Israelite. So when you start to grow, you start to believe. The first thing you want to do is grow your beard. I remember that. The first thing, I had no beard, and the first thing I did was grew my beard. Whatever shaving utensils I had, I threw them out that very day. No more shaving. So I'm going to get to the point in a minute, just showing you the utter hypocrisy of these camps. And number one in particular, this one, you already know what I'm going to talk about, And I'm going to see what Bishop Nathaniel is going to say this Saturday, how he's going to twist the scriptures like he always does. But in vain, this is Matthew 15:9. But so this is the Lord's quoting Isaiah, in Isaiah 29. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, or the traditions of men. In other words, they got their own traditions. Like you got the IUIC, that if a guy's in the audience, he ain't saying nothing, he got a cap on his head, they'll say, well, why aren't you taking your cap off? And then they'll go to, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, I believe that's verse 3. And then they'll read it, and it says, if you're praying or prophesying, if you're a man, you're supposed to take your lid off. The guy's not praying or prophesying. And they'll stand there for 15 minutes trying to embarrass the man about taking his head off. That's the tradition of men. It says teaching for doctrine, the tradition or the commandments of men. And then in the same chapter, it speaks about it's a shame for a man to have long hair. And then these guys will twist the scriptures again. I didn't want to talk. I said I'm not going to go talk about the IUIC, but they clearly go off. Wait a minute. Let me do this. And I wasn't even in it. And I'm looking, look at this. Look at this. This is IUIC London. And one guy said in IUIC London that a man can have long hair as long as it's not feminine. What's the difference? You see this one right here? She got the long braids. If it was a man right there, he would have the same braids or the locks. Now look at this right here to show you the utter hypocrisy of the IUIC. This man clearly shaved his head. He got the cornrows, the braids. Those look like extensions. They may not be, but they look like extensions. And you can clearly see that they use not only is he lined up, but he's shaven, and some of it grew back. Right there, he went to the barber shop, and they cut. Now you got some jakes that miss hair right over here, but it looks he clearly you ain't missing hair, naturally missing hair over here. All right, this is complete hypocrisy. They'll see somebody in the audience. The guy ain't saying a damn thing. He just rolled up 2 minutes ago. Yo, brother, why you got your hat on? Why you got your hat on? Somebody help me out. If you can find those videos, because they say it all the time. And they'll spend 15, 20 minutes lambasting the man, browbeating the man, until he takes his hat off or walk away. And then sometimes they'll get embarrassed and they'll take their hat off. When I see shit like this, I think about the wicked scribes and Pharisees. This is clearly against, and then they'll say, keep the law as keep. And while they're saying it, they're breaking the law while they're saying it. This guy's clearly got his hair is kind of growing back. There's no such thing as no mini scissors. Well, that was a special, no. You took a fucking razor and shaved your shit off. Made it crispy. Look at all this. Like I said, you get some brothers, they might be missing hair naturally over here, right? But over here too? So he's bald that way? No. We know that they was shaving because it's growing back. But so I was watching this video yesterday. Now check this out. Okay, sit down with Pastor Violet. This is in Germany. And now look at the picture. Look at the picture. Look at the
No, if I don't keep the word on my heart, bro, don't judge me because of my trousers.
And then these fools are here talking to this woman. She's a woman pastor. She's going off. You know she ain't gonna accept. I accepted my Israelite. I'm gonna be in my order, cause you're gonna have to give up her congregation, and whatever money she makes, you're gonna have to give that up too. And they're sitting there for 33 minutes, trying to show her scriptures, and then she's bucking up against, everything that they say. And what does Matthew 10 show you that they're not following scriptures? What does Matthew 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, when you read down, starting from the 5th verse on down? So don't go to Gentiles, don't go to Samaritans, go to the house of Israel. As you go, teach the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Then it goes on to say in the 18th verse of that same chapter, Matthew 10, the testimony against them and the Gentiles. We're supposed to be a testimony against the Gentiles. But it says, if they don't accept your peace, then shake the dust, shake the dust off your feet. So here they are. You could have found out in 2 minutes that she ain't accepting it. Let's get up and let's shake the dust and let's go. So look at this. There's a complete hypocrisy. This guy, you mean to tell me he woke up one day and his hair was bald though? He was born like that? Some type of condition where you can clearly see that he went to the barber shop or he did it himself. You can clearly see that that's baldness. Oh, another thing that they'll do, they'll see an older man with a completely bald head and they'll hit the scripture. And the guy is probably bald because he's old. And there's laws on that. But if your hair falls out and you're bald, it goes into a Levitical law that you're not unclean. If that was the case, Elijah or Elisha would have been unclean because he was bald. Remember, go up, thou bald head. He was bald because his hair fell out because he was a man of a certain age. So tell me that he was born this way, and I'll call you a liar. He got some dreadlock, whatever. His hairline is janky. He got it all matted up. But then, he got the beard. But then this right here is full bald. He obviously, either he did it, one of the other brothers did it for him, his wife did it for him, or he went to the barber shop and he said, I want this bald. He actually sat down. He's probably wearing an IUIC shirt too with the fringes on it. And he looked down at the fringes. Like Elder Yashawamba said I was watching one video that he did the other day where he said these guys, the guy took a picture of his penis, and he said when he went to the bathroom and pulled his penis out, he had to pull up, his shirt, t-shirt or whatever, or garment, and there were fringes there. So here this nigga, I'm gonna take a picture of my penis and show it to this chick, and then he pulls out his rod and he sees the fringes and he moves the fringes out the way, pulls out his rod and takes. That's some deep wickedness, man. And then here you got Bishop Nate. I love this. They're laughing and joking. That ain't no laughing matter, man. You messed up 4 people's lives by your decisions. Well, they messed up their life. But you're laughing at it. That's not a laughing thing. Because you got one brother that had a wife. He's thinking that he had a loving wife. Then you had this dude with his wife, and according to their tradition of men, the fear toward me is taught by the tradition of men, you can only have one wife. That's a tradition of man. So this guy, I guess he got his wife that's pregnant. So he's talking to this other chick that's married to this other guy, going back and forth texting while they're in class or whatever gathering they're in. They're texting each other. And then the nigga goes and sits down after he finished texting and took a dick pic. He goes down and sits next to the brother and says, Shalom. That's complete wickedness, man. And then here you got the leadership laughing at that shit. Now, what if this guy rolled up and killed his wife and killed the dude in the congregation? You guys will cover that shit up. There ain't no laughing matter. You don't laugh at that. You don't laugh at that shit. That's not a laughing thing. This guy, I'm gonna read the text. Read the text. And he took out his dick. He said, I love stuff like this. Complete wickedness. Now justify you laughing. If I had women in the congregation and that shit happened with a brother with his brother's wife, first of all, I might not even say nothing. I might just say, have a secret, counsel with them, and I would say, look, you're no longer part of this congregation. Y'all got to leave. And then the brother, you tell the brother, well, look, you got to leave your wife. Obviously you're going to leave your wife and you can get another wife or whatever the case may be. And then the sister, it's a fucked up situation all the way around. Like I said, what if it got out of hand and this nigga came in with a 9 or AK-47 in the congregation and he rolls up on the dude and he busts a shot in his head? Then people look, oh my, what the hell's going on? Then he rolls over to his wife and busts a shot in her head and maybe kills himself. See, this is why we don't have women in our congregation. Because women bring confusion. Even the Apostle Paul said that in 1 Corinthians chapter 14. He said, the Lord is not the author of confusion. Then he goes on to say in the same chapter about having, well, the scriptures say, having wives and authority over men. Women shouldn't speak. If they should learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, meaning they should have husbands. Paul spoke about that too, being busybodies. So, you know, we don't have that problem because we don't have no women. I don't know none of the brothers' women. I don't know none of their women. So coming back to this, it's a double standard with these guys. It's hypocrisy. Let me look up the word hypocrisy. So when you go back to Matthew 23, Yahushua uses the term hypocrites. Hypocrisy, meaning hypocrisy is the practice of feigning to be what one is not or to believe what one does not. The word hypocrisy entered the English language in circa 1200 AD, of course, with the meaning the sin of pretending to virtue or goodness. Like these pastors are coming out. These guys are teaching being righteous, and you got to be righteous in the Lord and this, and we don't accept homosexuality. But then you find out the pastor been laying down with little boys. Hypocrisy often refers to advocating behavior that one does not practice themselves. It should be. What is hypocrisy in simple words? A situation in which someone pretends to believe something that they do not really believe, or that is the opposite of what they do or say at another time. There's one rule for her and another rule for everyone else, and it's sheer hypocrisy. Now, this guy that committed adultery and the woman that committed adultery with the dude, obviously y'all kicked him out. Does he get to come back in a year? Huh? Or are they kicked out for good? I didn't get up in the morning saying I'm going to get on IUIC. So I want to see how Bishop Nathaniel spins this. This man is clearly bald-headed. He clearly went to the barbershop and he had the guy, okay, he told him, look, I want you to shave this all bald, shave all this bald, but don't mess with this here. Shave it to about here. Cut it off to about here. This man, okay, there's nothing wrong with this brother. He's got short hair, almost bald. But you can see that you can see, well, this right here is a little questionable. But you know, him I'm not gonna notice. I go into, if I'm in Germany, I go into this room, the first thing I'm gonna notice, well, wait a minute. You get the IUIC t-shirt on, and he clearly got a bald head. That's clearly bald. IUIC, tell me that I'm going off, and I'll take this video down. So now let's go into the precepts. And there's never a time where these guys don't say keep the law. This, that, and the third, and keep the laws. Hypocrisy. Now let me go to, let me do this. Deuteronomy 22:12. I'm sorry. Okay, Leviticus 21:5. They shall not make baldness upon their head. Show you where the head is. This is the head. This is the head. That's part of the head. That's another part of the head. Mouth, nose, eyes. That's the head. That's the head. Okay? Baldness doesn't mean, okay, you got this guy, Anton, whatever his name is, Anton Daniels. He's bald-headed he's completely bald. He wanted to shave his head bald. Okay? If you shave all your hair off, bald, you're bald. Guess what? If you shave part of your hair off, you're also bald. You're bald. So let me come on back. This goes into leprosy of the scalp. So in the case of leprosy, you got to shave off part of your hair that's been affected by the leprosy. Okay, Numbers 6 and 9. And if any man die suddenly by him, the one that takes the vow of the Nazarite, and he have defiled the head of his consecration, is holiness, which is that act of the vow of the Nazarite. You can look up the word consecration. Then he shall shave his head, and the day of his cleansing, on the seventh day, shall he shave it. So Paul did that. I'm not going to go to that. Somebody put it in the description, in the comment. Paul got ready for the Passover. I believe it was in Acts 18. It said he shone his head, and he said, I must, something to the fact I must make this feast. And he was talking about the Passover. So Paul was under the vow of the Nazarene, but he broke it to keep the Passover. Because guess what? When you go to the Passover, part of the Passover, the order is to drink wine, right? Can't drink wine when you're a Nazarite. So Paul had to break his Nazarite vow, and the word Nazareth goes back to the word separate, and then these niggas made it a fucking fashion statement, you know? So that's what it's talking about. Then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day shall it be till he shave it. Numbers 6 and 18, and the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the. So, first of all, in order for y'all to say you're keeping all the laws 100%, you gotta have there's a certain day, the seventh day. If you're unclean, you got to separate yourself, shave your head on the seventh day, and then you had to go to the tabernacle. Let's finish reading. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take, and not just shave the head, you got to pick that hair up, the hair of the head of his separation, and put it in the fire. How many of y'all are doing that? How many of y'all are keeping the vow all year, but when the Passover come around, you shave your hair off, and you go to the tabernacle and you set it on fire? Are y'all doing that? Which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. Deuteronomy 21, verse 12. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. That's talking about in war. You fight against another nation. You see a woman that's pretty. You want to get with her. You want to make her your wife, because the word wife means woman. Whether it's a lower level wife or an Israelite wife, she would be of another nation. She would be a concubine, but she's still your wife. Because if you lay with your if someone lays with your concubine, that's still adultery. Judges 16, verse 19, and she made him sleep with her. This is Samson when he told the Philistine woman about she was trying to find out where he get his strength from, and he said, "If you shave all my hair, I will have no strength." It doesn't mean that the strength was in his hair. It meant that he broke the vow. That's what it meant. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks, meaning they were braids. There wasn't no funky ass dreadlocks. He had 7 cornrows, so you can understand, of his head. And she, well, scripture say, do everything decently in order. Well, Samson did everything decency in order. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. Why? Because he broke the vow. Ezekiel 44, verse 20, this is to the priests. When you read up a couple of verses above that, it's talking about the priests. It said, neither shall they shave their heads. And that's also Leviticus 21. And that's talking about the priests. And a lot of times, well, all the times, IUIC will bring out that scripture in Leviticus, 21 and 5. And they'll tell a regular guy, oh, see, you're not, but that only applies to the priests. Because you can shave your head bald if you're breaking the vow of the Nazarite. If a Nazarite comes before a body that suddenly dies in front of them, they got to shave their head off. So you can go around bald. There's times where you can go around bald. Ceremonially. So you got these guys saying, keep the laws. They don't know. When did they ever teach a class where they went into laws? I'm going into the laws. Nor suffered their locks to grow long. A priest is not supposed to have long hair. Neither is a priest supposed to shave their hair. They shall only pull or cut their heads. Acts 21, verse 24. Them take and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing but that thou mayest also walkest orderly and keep the law. You know what I got to do? Let me do this. Give me a second here. Let me do it this way. It's easy to say you got to keep the laws. It's a whole different thing, a whole different ball of wax when you explain what the laws are. Okay, let me go to context. Twenty-one and 21. And they are informed of thee that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. What is it? Therefore, the multitude needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this, that we say, to thee, we have 4 men which have a vow on them. Them take and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things wherefore they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou mayest also walkest orderly and keepeth the law, as touching the Gentiles, which are the Israelite foreigners, which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols. So Paul said, look, you don't got to tell them to keep all the laws, because they're coming into the fold. They got to get to know Yahweh Shai. And from blood, strangled animals, right? Meaning eating animals with blood in it. And for you guys that eat chicken, you guys like the dark meat, give me the dark meat. Jake like dark meat. What makes the chicken meat dark? Blood. Blood. Give me the dark meat. And so if all of y'all are eating chicken, you better eat the breast. You better not eat the leg or the thigh or the wings. And if you're doing that, you're a hypocrite. And from strangled and from fornication. By the way, fornication means adultery. It doesn't mean anything else. They'll give you a bunch of, it means sex with this and animals. No, it means adultery. Fornication means adultery. Then Paul took the men, and the next day purified himself with them, entered into the temple to signify. These were Israelites that's coming out of that Gentile mind state. The accomplishment of the days of purification. So what did the Apostle Paul do? He purified them so they can go into the temple because they were Israelites. Until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. And they didn't even have fringes on because they wasn't in the law. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews, which were of Asia, which was like the southern Asia Minor, which was going north outside of Jerusalem, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him. And they tried to kill him. This is the story when you read down about the captain. And he said, speaketh thou Greek? You know, I thought you was that Egyptian that led 400. That's a whole story. So they were looking to kill the Apostle Paul for bringing heathens into the into the temple. But they were not heathens. They were heathens because they didn't. Like if you got a guy in the audience listening to you and he wearing a dress and he says, look, man, I don't want to be a woman no more, you know. I want to come learn under you. You can't come back next week wearing high heels and a fucking dress. You got to change your whole life because Moses can be delivered too. You know, even the Apostle Paul said that. That's, let me get the wording. Let me see, what was the wording? Let me try this. Bear with me for a minute. The Apostle Paul said, and such are ye. Let me try you. Such are you. Let me see what happens. Such was some of you. Such was some of you. So you could even be a Mo and come out of that because you're part of Israel. Okay, let me do it this way. Let me just take 9. First Corinthians 6 verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High, but be not deceived, neither fornicators, which are the adulterers. That's all it means, adulterers. It doesn't mean if you sleep around with have 3 or 4 wives, it does not mean fornication. It means adultery. When you lay with a man lays with another man's wife, that's adultery. Nor idolaters, nor adulterers, which is the same word, nor effeminate. What does the word effeminate mean? Nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor... If you're a hardcore gangbanger, you can't come into this truth unless you put that all, you become a new creature. And the word new is kainos, which means renew, refresh. Drunkards, nor revelers. You club type of dude, you can't go to the clubs no more. Nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And such was some of you, but such was some of you. Paul said, some of you guys in this thing with, cutthroats, thieves, moles, drunkards, ravelers, extortioners, adulterers, deceivers. It says, and such was some of you, but ye are washed. So if you're a Mo, you can be washed. But ye are sanctified, made clean. But ye are justified in the name. What's the name? Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. And by the spirit of our power. So if an Israelite camp doesn't accept the man in there because he was a Mo, if the man cleans himself up, he becomes... You can't come into this thing with your Mo. You can't come into this with a dress on. What you doing with a dress on, brother? Well, I got friends on the dress. No, doesn't work that way. So any of you Israelites that say this guy used to be a Mo, he can't come in, you're going against the New Testament. You're going against what the Apostle Paul said. Now, if somebody does come in like that, you're going to look at him funny for a while. You're going to kind of stay away from him. But the door is open for all type of people. So it's easy to say, keep the laws. Keep all the laws, brother. Sister, you wearing pants on. Why you wearing pants? You got to keep all the laws. And that's it. They don't teach the laws. I'm going into the laws. I'm going into detail. Okay. Where am I? Leviticus 25 and 21 and 5. They shall not, and that's talking about the priests. Let me prove that. Regulations concerning priests. So this is talking about the priests. That's why I read Ezekiel 44 verse 20. Priests shouldn't shave their head bald, neither should they grow their hair, their locks long. But eventually, we will all become priests. Let me go to Leviticus 19 and 27. I lined up a whole bunch of precepts. I'm not going to hit all of them. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar or cut off the corners of thy beard. So now let's come back over here. Marred the corners of his beard and shaved his head bald. And clearly shaven, man. But I'm a demon. Oh, and they said they were slanders. Where did we ever fucking slander you? Is this slander? Look at that. Look at that. He clearly went, he got it lined up, look like extensions. Might not be, but they look like extensions to me. But you can clearly see he went to the barber shop. He said, I want you to shave all this off. Shave all this stuff off, mate. And line this up nice and give me some cornrows. Like I said, I don't know if these are extensions, but they look like, the texture looks like extensions. I could be wrong. And he's borderline long hair. See this man right here? That's the way he's supposed. If you notice, he doesn't look like he got the full beard. You can see that he's not bald. He doesn't have no style, shaved over here with dreadlocks on the top with a half afro on the other end. So this is clearly hypocrisy. Let's come back over here.
No, if I don't keep the word on my heart, bro, don't judge.
By his angel unto the start of service.
So this is how. So you roll up on it. The first thing you do is, no, I can't say nothing. Really, he looked kind of shaved over here. That's suspect. But he's bald over here, and you can see he got short hair. This is an older gentleman. You can see the grays in his hair, and you can see he's not shaving his hair. There's nothing wrong with what he got, but look at this guy. Clearly shaven. He's bald. Scriptures speak about baldness on the head. Right, and the man whose hair is falling off, yet he's unclean. This is the law of the leprosy, clean lepers and unclean lepers. So going bald is like a form of leprosy, but it's clean. It's clean. When you reach a certain age, your hair starts falling out. Mostly men, but now it's happening to women because of this garbage that we eat. Right. This is Elisha. The kid said, "Go up, thou bald head, thou bald head." And you know what Elisha did? He got mad. He used his spiritual power, called two she bears, and they tore those kids. They were Israelite kids, little badass kids, baby's kids. So the Most High didn't, say, "Look, you shouldn't have killed all them kids." The man was on a mission, and he had a mean streak on him, like High Priest Ariel. High Priest Ariel had a mean. He was a cool brother, but he had a mean streak. If you got him mad, anyway, that's all I'm going to say. With that, I'm going to say Shalom.